Hey guys, welcome back. It's Melody, and today we are going to talk about how to organize your life. I've been talking about this organization series for some time now, and so I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, quit your yammering and get to the goods. And so that's what this video is going to be about, is about how to organize the non-physical. If we focus on getting our errands down and saving our energy, we will be able to do all of the things that we would like to do. And if you like organization, life hacks, any way to make your life more simple and more efficient, then this is definitely your channel. So please give us a subscribe. So Rome wasn't built in a day, and your life is not going to be organized in a day. There is a lot that goes into living. There's a lot of things that are absolutely necessary. And so the 4 categories, in my opinion, that are necessary for everybody's life to simplify is your notebook, your errands like bills and appointments, your food. Food is very extensive, and so there are plenty of ways to simplify food. And then we also have routines like grooming, mail, and cleaning. But we are going to focus on the notebook today because this is your guidebook to living. And so the very first thing you want when it comes to a notebook is you want something lightweight. I always say this, but especially when cleaning, you don't want heavy cleaners. To me, this is too fat. You want to keep your notebook as basic as possible. So in that light, if you're going to school to become a nurse, or if you're working on a big, huge project, whether it's remodeling your house or something that big like starting a YouTube channel, you want a notebook just for that. You don't want to combine it with your guidebook notebook. It's going to get too complicated and you're going to be cutting out pages and moving things around too much. This is a guidebook, so it shouldn't be altered too much. And now, if you are not one of the people that likes hard copies, go ahead and digitize all of this. These are just suggestions. The best thing to do is to personalize things to fit you. Now, the very first list in my whole notebook is my travel list. And my travel list is always in the first page because when I want to travel, I want to be able to go boom, and I'm already there. So I'm encouraged to use it. When it comes to the travel list, you want to organize it according to category. So toiletries, makeup, clothes, you want to organize it according to the way you'll pack it. You don't want to scatter it all around, and you want to be very thorough. You can't be too thorough when it comes to a travel list because you're going to be using this for all types of travel. So you're not going to pack everything on this list all the time, but you don't want to forget anything no matter what kind of travel you're doing. The travel list is very helpful. And then the very next list is the address list, and that's list number 2. I don't keep a lot on my address list because I mainly send things by email. And then the very next list that I have is if you're like me and you're ambivalent, whether guy or girl, I'm not pointing fingers here. If you're ambivalent like me, then you definitely want to keep a favorite foods list, because how often are we on a Friday night and your SO asks you, where would you like to eat, honey? And you're just staring into outer space and you're frustrated with your indecision. Well, if you're ambivalent, a favorite food list will help you narrow it down, because oftentimes we don't make decisions because we're faced with too many. And so if we just see a list of our favorites, all of a sudden the decision is instantaneous. It's the same with our wardrobe. If you get your wardrobe down to your absolute favorite dresses and outfits, then dressing every day becomes very easy. The very next list is the favorite movies list. So if you are somebody that likes to have movie night like me, but you can never remember your favorite movies, instead of looking on IMDb or looking into your Plex folder, you can just go ahead and look here. So my favorite movies are, generally speaking, old-fashioned movies like Sabrina, anything with Jimmy Stewart or Cary Grant. I just love those old movies. I don't know, there's a certain kind of charm about them, and the romantic comedies were actually funny. I feel like the cartoons are more funny than the romantic comedies these days. Do you guys notice that? If you go to the theater with your kids, aren't you laughing a lot more than when you go into a romantic comedy? What's with that? Should be getting the kid artists to be writing the romantic comedy movies. Anyways, I digress. And then the next one is favorite artists. So again, you don't have to have all of these lists. You might be thinking, wow, Melody, that seems like a lot. I have a sharper memory than you. You probably do. But if you want to make a road trip list, and you want to remember those artists you used to like in your youth, then you can go ahead and put all your favorite artists here, and then you can look back and say, oh, I loved Amy Winehouse. I forgot that how much I loved her, and download all of her albums. And then the very next thing is my favorite things list. So if you have a bad day, which I mean, who has a bad day in America? Things are just so easy here. We never overwork ourselves, and everything is so manageable, right? But if you're one of those rare people that has a bad day, then you can go ahead and make a favorites list. And it can be really basic of things like plants, for instance. It doesn't have to be something that you actually have to do, but it can just be something that you love. You love to see or touch. So petting Pat is one of my favorite things to do, and also walking in nature. And I love my plants, but sometimes you just forget to be grateful for the things you have. So even just putting your favorite dresses or favorite things in your house can help you out when you're having a bad day. Now, I'm a realist, so I'm not going to say that this is going to be a miracle worker, but I'm just saying it will take a bad day to an okay day, which I love having okay days. In fact, this year I've been tracking my days, and I've had, I think it's been 14 good days or 13 good days and 1 okay day, so I haven't had a bad day yet. But this list really helps. If you're having a bad day, you can bump it up a notch to an okay day. And you can bump up an okay day to a great day if you add enough of your favorite things into it. And then my next list is my food list. So when I am making, and this is going to be covered more in the food category, but when I'm going to be making my weekly list for the grocery store, I will have a cheat sheet of every single recipe organized to type. So crockpot recipes, regular recipes, and what I'll do is put curry, and then I'll put carrots, celery, onion, and whatever else is in it, and I can glance at that and see if I am missing something. So the curry packet is going to be at the very end because I usually have backup curry packets, so I always organize it according to what I'll run out of first, so that I can just look at half of the list and put it on my grocery list and call it a day. I don't have any instructions on how to make the actual recipe. That's on my recipe cards. But this is just to make a grocery list very easy. The very next list I have is goals. So goals, I try to keep it as basic as possible, because the more that you add onto there, the less successful you'll be at the really important stuff. In life, there's so many things we can't control. We can't control other people, and we can't control certain things that come to us, so I'd rather take it a day at a time. I'll narrow it down to 5 things total that I'm focused on at any given point. And I'll alter the list, but I'll only keep it to 5, because the more that you add in, you're going to be dropping balls. So the most important part is to keep it simple and to make your most important goal at the top. You know, it's so easy to want to keep up with everybody, to have kids when everybody else is having kids, to travel when they're traveling. Everybody progresses at different rates, and things come to us at different times. So when we rush things, we're going to be spending money on college that we shouldn't have been spending maybe, or getting into relationships maybe that we shouldn't have been getting. So we just take it a day at a time and do the best with what we have wherever we have, and find contentment in the little things instead of looking at all the things we don't have, or looking at the things in our life like relationships or our kids, for instance, and being disappointed with what we thought it should have been. So it's better just to take things week to week and not to focus on everything too detailed. Reality comes into play. Even though advertisement tells you control everything, there's lots of things we can't control, and we have to accept that and just do the best with what we have in front of us. That's just my tip. And the very last page is taxes, and underneath the taxes I have bills. In the bill section, I will keep the bills that aren't on auto pay. If you have a lot of bills, you might want to have a whole page just of bills. And then there are some other lists that you might want to consider, things like a clean routine, an exercise routine. I just keep those things as basic as possible, so I don't need to keep a list of them. And if you're working on a certain little project, not a big project that requires a notebook, you can keep it in the center of the notebook. And the reason why you want to keep it in the center is because that's going to change. So you need a lot of extra pages as as you move through projects. I hope that this list gives you inspiration on where to start. I hope you'll pick up your notebook today, or you'll just go ahead and grab your notebook you already have, tear out the pages and start from scratch, and you'll have a little tiny notebook. If there's a list that I left out that you love keeping that list in your notebook, definitely give a comment down below, because I would love to see what's different in your notebook. If you know of someone who can benefit from this organization series, definitely give this video a share. We'll see you all next Sunday in the next organization and minimalist video.